Hello everyone, it has been a while, and today I will talk um, what happened to me in the last 4 or 5 months. And yeah, for the people who don't follow me on Twitch and Twitter, this will be a first. For the people who follow me and want to hear about the update, you can go in the description, go all the back. But yeah, I think it's time to just make a video about it, to talk about it, to let everything out with information until today, whatever I got, and I will try my best to not overdo it here, and to there are things I cannot share 100%, but you will understand once I'm talking about it. So in May 16, my dad has birthday. I went there and I saw him with the yellow eyes. Maybe you guys remember, I was still streaming at that time and I was unsure what exactly happened. And yeah, the yellow eyes, he has also blue eyes. You can really see it really good. And I told my dad, please just go to the doctors. And he eventually went there the week after. I was happy because I was kind of scared that he will not go. And so he went there and they said, yeah, you have this yellow thing. I don't know the translation in English. But yeah, so his gall was blocked, so his skin got yellow and his eye got yellow. And there are multiple reasons why the gall can be blocked, and they had to figure out why. If you Google this, there will be many bad things, and one of those things is pancreas cancer. So, as smart as I am, I went to Google and I researched this. And so I was kind of worried. After many tests the following weeks, they found out my dad has 2 tumors in the pancreas, and yeah, it's cancer. So it was a huge shock to me because I know that the pancreas cancer is probably one of the worst, if not the worst, cancer out there, mainly also due to the nature that you usually find it really late in its life cycle. So it was a huge shock. My dad was always there for me. He supported me with everything, and he was kind of like the person I look up to. And for me, it was emotionally really hard, even though I had also many things. Like I lost a friend due to cancer before, but yeah, it's hard. It's your dad. The entire situation is out of nowhere, right? So I will just like lead you through what happened the past months. And yeah, so after we got this diagnosis, my dad had to go for operation because first of all they thought it was stage 1, which means stage 1 cancer you can remove and maybe do light chemotherapy after to make sure the cancer is gone. And he also had to do the operation because of his gall, right? Because they needed to fix the gall so it doesn't look yellow anymore. So they did this at the same time, and their idea was to remove a little part of the pancreas, and this combination medical stuff, I don't know exactly what, but that was the idea of it. And so the day came when they had the operation in June, and during the operation they realized, well, it's too late for that. And it's kind of tricky because no matter how many MRIs and CTs and what all those things, all those letter stuff you do, you cannot 100% see it because of the shadow or something. So during the operation, they realized, well, they cannot do it, and they decided not to remove the pancreas because studies show that it's not effective at all if you do that while it already spread a little bit outside the lymph of the pancreas. At that point, they realized it's stage 2, but they still had to fix the gall, which they did. So my dad was in the hospital for maybe 10 days at that point, and then he could go back home. Obviously, the news were not great. We know there's not many options now except chemotherapy, right? But let's talk what happens first. So my dad went back home, and the first week was okay. Obviously, it hurt, right? You need medicine and all those kind of things. And he got high fever. He got little fever, which is kind of normal. They say it's fine, but if it's 38 degrees Celsius or higher, you have to go to the hospital again because there's still a chance of infection. I don't know this in Fahrenheit, but let's say it's fever. You feel it. So what happened is it was 38.5, and he was like, "Oh, it's fine." But then I could convince him that he goes to the hospital. So at that night, when he went to the hospital, they checked if there's an infection. While they checked it, the bacteria entered the bloodstream. Like some bacteria entered the bloodstream, which leads to blood poisoning and to sepsis. So he started shaking, and then he just passed out. And this is super dangerous because it is a huge toll on all the organs. It's really, really bad. And it's basically a coin flip from there if you survive it or not. I think the chances are 50%. And he managed to survive that night, but he was not out of the blue. So he had to stay in the hospital for 2 weeks. In those 2 weeks, or maybe 3 weeks, I'm not even sure anymore, because it was a crazy time. So anyway, at that time, he had to deal with this every day, and he was not in a good state. He was in emergency for like 2 or 3 weeks, and during that time, I mean, obviously I was emotionally already in a bad state. There was corona and all those things, plus my dad had cancer, and now he has to fight for his life. For me, what I did was like I tried to talk with him every morning and in the night just to make sure he's still alive. And obviously you have these conversations with your dad about what happens, right? I will not go too much in detail, but you can imagine about what you talk. And that was really hard for me. Obviously I didn't sleep. I mean, sleep is a luxury. I learned that. But yeah, those 2 or 3 weeks passed, and the antibiotics and all those things they gave him, they worked. His heart got weaker though, but they worked, and they realized they have to do another operation to make sure it's fixed, because apparently it's leaking, or I don't know, I really don't know the medical stuff, but they needed to do another operation. And my dad was scared of dying at that point, and I mean, cannot blame him. I was scared too. And he called me the night before, and that's when I did the post on Twitter about please lend me energy. I had to talk with him, what happens and so on, and I didn't sleep obviously when the operation was. I just waited until it was over, and it was successful, right? So a huge stone fell off me. Like I know he survived the sepsis now, and finally some good news. That was end of July, like 25th July, I think. Finally some good news, he survived. He still had to stay in hospital at that point, and I was like just relieved. I was like, okay, now we just go to the chemotherapy and hope that goes away as well, and let's just take a breather, right? And I also started jogging to try to make sure mentally I feel better. I lost a lot of weight during that time. And on that weekend, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start streaming again in August and do videos again. But little did I know that I get a call 2 or 3 days later, end of July, of one of my close friends. And he said on the phone the following words: I know you are emotionally in a bad state right now, and I don't want to burden you more, but this is something you have to know, because it also affects you. It affects all of us. With all of us, I mean our crew, our like close friends, right? And I was shocked, right? If you hear something like this, and the way he talked in his voice, you could know there's something wrong. Then he let me know that one of our close friends attempted suicide, and this is something you can like. I was never in the world expecting this. Like, it's hard to even imagine something like this because you don't see it, and then you obviously like think, oh shit, I should have saw it, and like there's another topic itself, but yeah, that happened. So we met on that weekend, and we had to figure out how we deal with this. He attempted it in a bad way, so you could say it was kind of gross, right? But on that weekend he had the operation in the hospital, and they stabilized him, and he survived. So obviously there were scars and everything, but he survived. the doctor said that he's not in any danger anymore, which for me, honestly, when you hear what happened and that, I was like, no, 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 no. I didn't want him to leave, but apparently that's how it was. So he had to go to his brother, who lived nearby as well. And due to the fact that there's many things involved, I cannot go too much in details. Me and my friends, we had to help with the apartment he used to live in. And he lived there for a half year, and during that half year, he kind of isolated himself. Obviously, you can say, why didn't you come for help, or like all those things, but it's not easy to ask for help. But at this point, I just want to say, if you ever feel depressed, if you ever feel something is wrong in your life, just go to your friends, go to your loved ones, just go there and ask for help. It's not a sign of weakness. Just do it. I know it sounds, maybe if you're in that state, it sounds awkward, but just really do it. All the people that care for you will always help you. So we went to the apartment, and we had to get the clothes and the bed and all those furniture things, and you can imagine how it looked, and the scene where certain things happened are still there. You could see it. Yeah, that was not really cool. And so we managed to do that, and we also worked on a plan together how you make sure that he's good, right? So he came back, and when I saw him, I mean, that's a hard topic conversation, right? Like, I was the third person who went there, so he already talked with two other friends, so I was not the last one, but like at least they opened up the conversation, and I also had to inform myself about how should I talk, what can I talk, what is it like, because this is kind of difficult, right? But yeah, we had the conversation, and I mean, he also said he's sorry, but I mean, it's not something you have to, it's not, it's like, at that point I just want him to be good, right? I don't think about anything else. And he realized, and that was the most important part, he completely understood and realized there was a huge mistake. And the way he said it, and I mean, obviously you can't just say it, but I felt it. So that was really good, and me and my friends, we planned how we're going to deal with this. So I started take him to my jogs 4 times a week. He joined me, and he couldn't even run like 400 meters, right? Obviously he had some, in the beginning we just walked just to get him a routine and outside, and then he couldn't even walk for like 500 meters, and now he runs 5 kilometers, right? So that's a huge improvement, and he still joins me until today. But yeah, so that was August/September. September went better. I was more prepared, but yeah, so that also happened. So my August was basically that. Plus now my dad starts the chemotherapy, and I moved back in with my parents. So now I'm here in my parents' place, mainly for support. It makes everything way easier. My internet was bad. It's fixed now. I had to put in cables and stuff. But yeah, so my dad's chemo, let's go back to the other topic. My dad's chemo started in August, and it was August, September, October, and now. So it started, he got weak, right? Like he had a red face, and like his hair, I mean, all the things from movies and from YouTube videos or whatever, that's what's happening. And it's not that easy when you experience this, right? If this happens to someone close to you, and it was mentally really hard for me. I mean, obviously everything that happened, I mean, I was just trying to be there. I couldn't make a video. I couldn't stream or stand in front of the camera like this and just smile, like be me and just do stupid jokes and play games. And no, it's just not possible, right? I probably should have made this video way earlier, but I tried to keep people updated on Twitter and Discord, so if you're not following, check out. But yeah, that was basically my experience until now. 2 weeks ago, I started having a stream again, and then the internet went bad again, but I got some results, some blood results, and the doctor were optimistic about my dad. with the chemotherapy. And now yesterday evening, we got the news. He had to do some tests, and yeah, it's a miracle. The chemotherapy actually worked. So his cancer is now smaller. So it went back. It didn't grow, which is. I slept for 14 or 15 hours legit after I heard it. Like, my body went into a state I never experienced. Like, it was like evening, and I was hearing it and then talking, and then I was like just falling asleep. I think my body just went in shutdown mode at that point. So I went to sleep for 14, 15 hours, and I'm relieved. I am relieved. It helps me mentally big time. I already went to a better mental state. You learn to accept certain things, you learn to understand certain things that seem impossible in the beginning when something like this happens, with all the drawbacks and with the isolation that COVID also gives us, or gave us, or still give us. The mental state takes a toll, and when these things happen, right, and my dad and my grandparents and my dog and everything happened during that COVID time, which is absolutely nuts, right? It's always like chipping your mental, right? But I found a way, and I tell you, sport is the best way to deal with those things. I feel fit, I feel fresh. Yeah, that's a huge update about my dad. The chemotherapy works, and now they try to use some laser and some technologies. I have no idea, to pinpoint the tumors and remove it. So that's obviously the goal, to make him cancer free. It's still a long journey, but just knowing that the chemotherapy actually works is huge. That's like, because the percentage is not that great, but he was in stage 2, so there's still hope. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I think it summarizes everything really well. Obviously, I can go more into details, but if you have questions, always feel free to ask me. You can write me in Discord, I answer you directly. And yeah, now let's go to the update about YouTube, about my stream, about me, and about everything. I also got a new job. I still work as a software engineer, but I only work 60%, or say 70%, but it's really flexible, so I will be back streaming again. I also quit my job that I had before because I couldn't, like, everything was just too much for me. So everything now is back on track. You're gonna see me streaming again. You're gonna see me making YouTube videos again. I'm looking forward for the new set. It looks really amazing. It looks quite strong, to be honest, but let's see how it plays out. I'm really a huge fan of the new set, and also like the theme, like the vampires. And I missed the last few sets, but obviously I was still there watching Magic and talking with people. And again, thanks for everyone who just reached out to me, all the friends, the fellow content creators on Twitch and YouTube, everyone. I mean, you all know who you are, so really thanks a lot for this. And yeah, I'm back now for good, with internet fixed, with everything fixed, with a new set coming. Probably I still need a lot of strength, but this was a huge update for me yesterday evening, and I just wanted to share everything so you all know it here. It's documented on a video, and I try to go as personal as I can. Yeah, that's about it, and thanks for staying here. Hopefully you look forward to my videos and my streams, and yeah, see you live or here on YouTube. Thanks everyone.